second.
Okay. It's going now.
It's going now. Okay. Hey, brothers and sisters. Yeah, Doug Rosner here, Handy Home Helper. Believe it or not, hey, got a cameraman today. Okay, my man Tony. All righty. But anyhow, so what we got going on here, and Tony can kind of show you a little bit. We got an addition here, and Tony can kind of show you that addition some. And what they did was they put the addition on posts instead of foundation wall, instead of a concrete or a block wall. Okay, I'm not in favor of that at all. All right, this is an addition, it's not a deck. All right, okay. Anyhow, and so what they did was the posts are sitting on the footers. It's according to code, but it ain't a way to do it, you know. And the footers, of course, are 30 inches down in the ground. So that means these posts are down in the ground. And what has happened over the period of time is these posts have started to rot. Here, Tony, come up here. You can see right here, and they're rotted down underneath. We've checked them out. You look here. He's got, and there's way more rot than this that's underneath here. Right. Okay. And there's more because it's been dug out and looked at. Okay. So what we're going to do is, you can see there's been a lot removed here. There was the lattice here and so forth. There was a shed here, right? These heat pumps were all the way down here, right against the lattice, sitting on an angle, got buried in decomposed mulch and so forth. So here, Tony, come on up here. Because what I'll show you is right over here, you can see where the mulch was up. It was up this high. Of course, heat pump just kicked on. It's going to be a little loud, but mulch was this high. All right. You're never ever supposed to have these heat pumps down close to the ground. They got to be up. So what we had to do was we had to take the heat pumps. We had to pull them down this way. Then prepare the ground up here, good and level, and tamped. We used tamper on it, and then put the pavers back, these pavers in. They weren't in there before. Then we put the tray on top of the pavers. All right, there's no way any dirt or mud's going to get into these heat pumps anymore. What we also did was we moved them away from the structure. Thankfully, we had room. This is called a line set right here, right? And that's feeding into the interior units for your air conditioning and your heat. So we got that moved out of the way. All right, that was a lot to do. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put in temporary shoring, and that's what we got. Lumber here, the piece of LVL. We got to cut these up, lay them down flat, and we have these adjustable columns here, these lolly columns. All right, we got the jacks over there. Okay, so I'm going to get in the temporary shoring. What I got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 temporary posts that are going to go in. Once we get those all in, then what we have to do is we'll come in here, and of course this downspout will be moved, an ADS pipe. And let me back up a second. Well, so we had a laser inside and took grade marks up above inside the house to make sure we knew where the floor level was, so we can check it while we're doing it. We don't actually have to raise the structure. I've raised a lot of structures. We don't have to do that this time, but we do want to make sure it goes back. When we put in temporary shoring, what we do is we raise the structure up 1/4 of an inch. We put in the temporary shoring, and we let that 1/4 inch back down. We let it back down because you will compress at least 1/4 of an inch, so it'll bring it back to where it was. You don't want to raise more than that because then you start cracking and doing damage to finishes up above. Okay, so once all the temporary shoring's in place, and it's going to take a while. It's not going to be any fast operation. 4 posts will be at least 2 days doing that. Then we can come in and we'll remove the existing post. Now, what we have to do is, of course, we got to dig all around. We got to go down 30 inches, right? And we got to get the post out. Then what we do is, there is a footer down there. It's 8 inches thick, generally probably 18 by 18 inches, maybe 2 foot by 2 foot. Okay, that's fine. And then we use a form called a sonotube. It's a round form. It's a heavy, heavy cardboard. It's used for concrete. You see light poles in parking lots sitting on those and so forth. You don't see the form itself. You just see the concrete, because you put the sonotube down in, and that's going to come up above the ground. We want it above the ground, a good 4 inches, 5 inches, because we don't want the new posts that are going to sit on top of the concrete piers to ever have any contact with the ground. With that, in the sonotube, we're going to put in reinforcement bar. We call it rebar. Okay, steel. It's, for concrete. Concrete's good compressive. Steel's good for tensile, right? And those. Then we will strip the forms off, the sonotube forms. Get those out of there. Some guys don't do that, and you should, and here's why. Because the sonotube is roughly a 1/2 inch thick, okay? And it's cardboard, and it's biodegradable. So what happens is when you leave that in the ground, all right, you go around and you tamp the dirt, you backfill against the sonotube. Over a period of years, that sonotube will break down, biodegrade, and rot away. So you tamp the ground, but now the ground is not tight against the pier anymore. So what happens is it allows the pier to have lateral movement, and you don't want to have that, because when you backfill, you want to, every 6 to 8 inches, you tamp the ground, you put in 6 to 8 inches more, and you tamp the ground. All right, you tamp it hard, real hard, okay, because you got to get full compaction. So you can't leave the sonotube in, you got to take it off. All right, then after that, there's a stand bracket that gets anchored to the concrete pier. Then the new 6x6 treated posts will go into that bracket, and of course they're going to go right back here where they're mechanically fastened in with that. So it's a lot of work. Probably do a video or two in process of that. All right, hey, so brother says, yeah, Doug Rosner here. Yeah, what am I at? Yeah, I just lost my mind. But anyhow, so we'll show you progress as that happens. All right, any questions? Yeah, just send them to me. I know you all aren't afraid to send questions. Okay, signing off.
Thank you for your video, Mr. Rosner. I appreciate it.
Just hit the red button.